Welcome to Narayan Planet. Hello friends, class 6 science book The Living World will study the abiotic environment. So this is the second part. The first part link is in description box. So let's begin. Abiotic components include physical condition and non-living material that affect the growth, maintenance, and reproduction of living components and can interact with each other. Water, air, light, temperature, soil, and rock, etc. are all examples of non-living components or abiotic components. These are non-living components from the physical or abiotic environment in nature. Let us study about them in detail. Water. Water is essential for the survival, growth of all living organisms. So, in biotic components are the components which include physical condition and non-living materials that affect the maintenance, reproduction, and growth of living component and can interact with each other. Some of the example is air, light, temperature, etc. Non-living components form the physical or abiotic. Hence, it is also called physical component, physical environment. Water. Water is essential for the survival of growth of all living organisms. It is needed and used for drinking, bathing, cooking, etc. Animals and plants cannot survive without water. It is used for irrigation of crops. Human and other animals need water for different activities of their life. Try to think and list the various activities for which we use water. So we all know water is essential for all living organisms. It is used in bathing, cooking, drinking. And animals and plants cannot survive without water. It is used in irrigation of crops. Human and animals need different activities like the rainwater harvesting. So the rainwater harvesting is a way to collect rainwater when it rains. Rainwater can be stored above the ground or underground and then used later. This happens naturally in open rural areas. However, in congested metropolitan cities like Mumbai, Delhi, we need to create a method to capture the rainwater. Rooftop rainwater harvesting is one of the such methods. Here, rainwater can be collected at rooftops of houses through pipes. This water can be transferred to tanks, pit, or small well. Since the water is very likely to get impure, it should be used for household purpose only after filtration and purification of water. So the rainwater harvesting is a way to collect rainwater when it rains. Rainwater can be stored above the ground or underground and used later. In congested cities, we use rooftop rainwater harvesting. Rooftops of houses is supplied through pipes and transferred to tanks or small well. Sometimes it is getting impure. It should be used in household purposes only after filtration and purification of water. Rainwater harvesting and can supplement the requirement of water in cities and raise the subsoil water level. If we use using rainwater again, then it is decreasing. So this help in maintaining and increasing the greenery in urban areas. If rainwater is not collected, it flows down to the river situated far away through the drains and is thus not available for immediate use. The rainwater that falls on roads or concentrate areas goes into drains. We are seeing at raining, the rainwater goes to drains and concrete areas. The rainwater then untreated ground and seeps into the ground for recharging the groundwater. Innovation water collection methods need to be used in different areas to collect and use rainwater. So here is the rainwater harvesting well. This is the well and this is the diagram. This is the diagram of rainwater harvesting. So in activity 4, we have to make a poster on harvest water to harness of life. Air. We know that all living organisms need air for their survival. Air is a mixture of several gases like nitrogen, carbon dioxide, oxygen are important gases in air. Plants and animals use oxygen for respiration. Here, when we take respiration is a method when both plants and human take oxygen and plants is also taking oxygen in process of respiration. Plants consume carbon dioxide. So at the process of respiration, plants use oxygen and at the process of photosynthesis, plants are consuming carbon dioxide and release oxygen back into the atmosphere. And in the process of respiration, plants are consuming oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. Besides oxygen, nitrogen and carbon dioxide, small amounts of other gases vary. Many bacteria and viruses and dust are also present in air. Clean air is essential for our health as it provides the oxygen that is necessary to sustain life. So here is another abiotic component, that is light. Natural light is provided to us by the sun during the day and by the moon during the night. The moon, as you know, only reflects the sun's light. Hence, sun is the ultimate source of natural light. This natural light is used by the plants to grow and to prepare their food. Life on Earth is dependent on sunlight. Plants use sunlight and prepare their own food by photosynthesis. So we get natural light by the sun during the daytime. And we depend life on the earth is dependent upon sunlight. Light pertains into the forest as well as into the water bodies. Aquatic plants use sun. Here the penetrates means it's go through the water. The natural light go through the water, and aquatic plants use sunlight for photosynthesis, just like the other plants. However, the amount of light reaching these plants decrease with an increase in depth of water. So we are seeing the plants at the deep water do not survive for many days because the sunlight is not reaching them. That is why very few plants are able to survive in deep waters. Plants and animals respond to light in different ways. Have you seen a plant called morning glory? Ipomia. Its flower blooms out at sunrise, that is morning, and closes down after sunset. Similarly, in some plants, the leaves open during the day and close during the night. The sunflower always faces the sun. In the morning, it faces the east. In the evening, it turns toward the west. Some animals also shows variation in their behavior with the amount of light available to them. Most of animals are active during the day when there is light. Some animals like rats, cockroaches, and owls are active during the night because they have different types of function in their bodies. Temperature. The temperature at place is indicative of degrees of hotness or coldness of that place. It can be measured by a device called thermometer. The degree of hotness varies from place to place. Varies means different from places to place. Temperature affects activities of living organisms. Because of having the sweat glands and the tolerance range of the organism. It is an important factor that determines the distribution of plants and animals on the earth. Each organism has its own tolerance range of temperature. Most plants and animals grow in warm places, but some need a cold climate. Cows can tolerate the hot weather better than buffaloes. We often see buffaloes cooling themselves in pond during summer. This is because buffaloes are black in color and do not have efficient sweat glands. Hence they feel the heat more and need to cool themselves in remaining on water. So the buffaloes cool themselves in water because buffaloes are black, and black color absorb the sunlight, and they do not tolerate that much of hotness, and they cool themselves by remaining in water. On the other hand, camels can tolerate even the extreme heat of the desert. They have no sweat gland because they have no sweat gland. This help in reducing the loss of water from their body. They can live without water for many days. They do not have sweat glands. And the sweat glands is the gland from where the sweat of our body is reducing, and we feel the loss of water. So they do not have sweat glands, and they do not feel the loss of water from their body. That's why camel can live without water for many days. For many days. Polar bears and penguins are found in cold regions, and tigers and elephants are found in warm regions. This is because of geographical and climatic condition. Because the animals adapt the temperature. Soil. Soil is another important biotic factor of our environment. Most of the plants cannot grow without soil. Soil provides water and minerals to the plants, which are important for the growth. It also provides a home to organisms that live in soil. Soil are the important abiotic factor because most of plants grow with soil. So if the soil is not there in biotic, then in abiotic there are three factors, that is producer, consumer and decomposer. So then producer, without soil they cannot grow, and without producer there is no consumer, and without consumer there is no decomposer, and without biotic component there is no abiotic component. So we tell, when we constitute both biotic and abiotic component, we form environment. And environment is very important. And in environment, each part of environment is very important for us. So here we have to study the different topic, that is interaction in the environment. Plants and animals are interdependent in their food relationships. There are animals that feed on plants. Many of such animals are eaten by other animals, which in turn are eaten by some other animal. There is thus a food chain is in nature. For example, grasshopper is producer, deer is consumer, and lion is consumer of primary consumer, also called herbivore, and secondary consumer, also called carnivore. It is an example of terrestrial food chain. When such a chain exists between aquatic plants and animals, it make up an aquatic food chain. So here the first one is the grass. Then here grass are eaten by grasshopper, and grasshopper are eaten by rat, Rat are eaten by snake. Snake are eaten by owl. It is a terrestrial food chain. So here snail are eaten by tuna, and tuna are eaten by plankton, and plankton is eaten by dolphin. Seal is eaten by algae. Algae is eaten by a fish. Fish is eaten by shark. It is a aquatic, and it is also aquatic food chain. So here the mineral cycle. There is a relationship between the biotic and abiotic components of our environment. The abiotic substances supply nutrition to the producer. The, the producer prepare food for the consumer. Both producer and consumer after their death are broken down into similar substances by decomposer. The nutrition return to soil, air and water. These nutrition are again used by producer. The whole cycle is thus repeated continuously. The cycle of materials through biotic and abiotic component is called mineral cycle. So here is the diagram of mineral cycle. We have to draw this. During the process of respiration, both plants and animals take in oxygen from the atmosphere and give out carbon dioxide back to the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide also gets added to the atmosphere when burning of wood, coal and petrol takes place. This increases the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The plants use up carbon dioxide and give out oxygen during the process of photosynthesis. Thus, a balance is maintained between the amount of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So here is the diagram. Here is the diagram we have to draw. Thus, we realize that in our environment, its living and non-living components keep on interacting with one another. This makes our environment a dynamic system, means an interacting system between the biotic and abiotic component. So this is the keywords of biodegradable, consumer, decomposer. We have to learn this. And question answer we will do in third part.